Gone 5, 16, 19, 21, 33, and 10. Check results. You remember?
Holiday Doctor Away 274, 75, something like that. It's a good day. Well, it's an alright day. I went to the Marvels film, the Marvels new film, The Marvels. I know it could easily be confusing, and you know what? Maybe it is. And I wasn't planning on seeing it. Like I had no intention of seeing it. I didn't like Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man was even called Quantumania. Is the first film I haven't seen in cinemas in like so long. Well, sorry, no, first Marvel movie in like so long. Because even if wasn't really that interested, or even if I was like falling off a bit, I still saw every single one just for sake of it. I'd go right. Ant Man, I was like, I've got no interest at all. I watched it later on Disney Plus, and also I don't think I was in the country for like a month, so I still could have seen when I got back or maybe just before, but I just had no interest. Like and by the way, all the other Marvel films, like whether I'm really hyped or not that hyped, I see on like the first day it comes out because I just don't like spoilers and like I watch a lot of YouTubers that like my recommended like the day something comes out is just filled with like not spoilers but shit in the title like end credit scene explained and it's like a blurred out figure but you can tell who it is in the thumbnail. It's like I just want to get it done out the way first, like first day. I can listen to my podcast and watch my videos that are like related to it and stuff and have all that content to consume. So I see it first day. This I didn't even know it was out right now. I don't know. I think I saw one of those types of thumbnails on YouTube and I was like, oh, that shit must be out. I'll go see it. And I'll be honest with you right now, it'd be easy to kind of dunk on it. It's like the easy film to dunk on because people don't like Captain Marvel, and it's three of them, all slightly different, well, all different ethnicities, I guess. It's a racial trinity, but to be honest, I gave the film spoiler alert like a 4.5 out of 10, which sounds like it's bad, like it's really bad, but like I want to say first of all, I think it was better than Thor: Love and Thunder. That was offensively bad to me. Mainly like the story, lazy crap. Yeah, this and that. Sure, characters, CGI, terrible. But also just stuff like the jokes, just like forcing these jokes that aren't funny, and like doubling down and then tripling down. And I'm just like, oh, the worst thing you can kind of make me do in a cinema screen is I could go through parts of a film where I'm a little bit bored. That's not great. Like some people's worst crimes is like making me feel nothing. That's what like a lot of people say is like I'd rather it be actively bad than making me feel nothing. Like that's people's like favorite thing to like spout, right? Who talk about films and shit. But for me, it's like making me cringe. Like I don't like to be made to cringe. Like especially when you're in a room with like a bunch of other people there and it's like that. I don't know, I cringe very easily as well. Maybe it's an inner problem, but like I just don't like to be made to do that. And like having all these jokes that you just improv on set, it's like being up late at night when you're all giddy and stuff and everything's funny, and then taking that into your stand-up routine tomorrow. And everyone's like, why are you just shouting chicken nugget, saying thinking that's a joke? And then you'd be like, oh, but it was really funny last night. We was dying at it. And it's like, but what's the content? I don't. Well, it's just like it kind of just was like that's what that was. To be honest, in a way, I would kind of say this film was like on level with like Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness to me. Like 4.5 sounds bad, but like if I compare it to the films that have been around it recently, like I think this was better than Ant-Man Quantumania, for example. Um, it's like I think it's been better than Ant-Man Quantumania. I think it's better than Thor: Love and Thunder, right? And I think it's probably on par with like Doctor Strange. But it gets a 4.5 because it's just been a bunch of bad crap recently. That like yeah, okay, maybe it looks on level, basically on par with everything else, maybe slightly better actually than a lot of the shit recently. But like I'm still comparing all the movies to when I was really gassed. Like when I was sitting there, and I know every film was not going to be Infinity War. When I was sitting there, Infinity War, in the first 5 minutes, I'm like, oh my god, this is sick. And like, oh my god, like when like even in the first scene when like Loki's walking through the place and Thanos is there and he like first appears, and I'm like, oh shit, this is the lamest nerd shit I'm ever going to say. But I was like, oh shit, I'm never going to get to watch it again for the first time. Like I'm so gassed, but also like it's going to be over in like 2 hours. I'm never going to see it again for the first. Like I was just so gassed at that point, and all the other films like around that I like was into them all. And like when I compare these films to those, like of course I would give like Infinity War like a 9. So like this compared to Infinity War, if Infinity's a 9, this is like a 4.5 is generous. For me, 6 is my average. So 6 is like an average film, and like maybe that's harsh to say it's like 1.5 below average, right? But like I think in the eyes of like Martin Scorsese, whatever, they're like, I see no difference. Like they watch Infinity War, they watch this and they're like, yeah, it's just superhero schlock, like what they're like. But for me, there is a big gulf in difference. And like for me, what a 6 should be in Marvel, what should be just like bang average, would probably be a film like, what should be a 6? I would probably say, I don't want to go too far back, like Iron Man 2 era. I want to kind of go Phase 3. What came out in Phase 3? There was Guardian, like there was a lot of good stuff in Phase 3, like Guardians and like the Captain America films and that. Spider-Man, I like that. And these all came out in Phase 3. Like Phase 3 was like, obviously the strongest phase. Phase 2, I would maybe say like Iron Man, the Iron Man films that aren't Iron Man would maybe be 6s to me. But I want to think of something more like now range where I think it should be. And I kind of need all the Marvel movies in front of me. I think these are all kind of just like this film wasn't offensive to me. I feel like, yeah, it was probably lazy. There's some points where they just rush it and it doesn't make sense and it's goofy, and like there's a couple like cringe lines, I guess, and like, the villain is crap and like they do things that don't really make sense. It's like you could have just done this a lot easier. Like at the end of the film, actually, I can't be asked because I probably shouldn't be spoiling stuff, but like at the end of the film, Captain Marvel does something, which is like kind of a heroic moment, and she does it within 10 seconds. And it's like, you was playing up that this would be hard for you to do. You've never done this before. You just did it in 10 seconds. Like it was nothing. Like it was just like, oh yeah, and like, oh, I just forgot, and I'll just do this on the way home. Like, what the fuck? Like, Captain Marvel does like, Marvel does this a lot of times now for recent characters. Like, they'll make their characters like look more layered by showing they've done bad stuff in their past, or like they've done this and that, but they'll never really show them like trying to resolve it or make them have a good enough reason. Like I saw people talking about Secret Invasion, the show, like complaining about it, and I'll confirm Nick Fury is just as useless as ever in this, and just like, why we still have him around? But like in that, it's like, you were meant to find them at home, you didn't. Surely there was a good reason for this, and it's going to be real to us. Oh, there was like no real good reason. You just kind of used them and got like forgot about it. Okay, well now what are you going to do about it? Not really much. It's like you're presenting these things like, oh, they did this, but they've changed and they had a good reason. But it's like, no, she kind of just did this kind of bad thing or kind of shitty thing, kind of just moved on with her life, then kind of just forgot about it, and then didn't really do anything about it. And when she did, it wasn't like a big thing to overcome. At least in even still though, it's just not true. Like when space is infinite, right? And that's kind of an issue that happened with this for me as well. When space is infinite, I just struggle to believe that like that we're finite resources when it comes to like planets and finding people homes and like needing water or needing sunlight or needing this and that. Like there's like, it's just like I said, there's a bunch of like dumb kind of rushed things in here where you think, why did they write that? And I think that was good to go, ship it off, because they ain't got much time. That's probably why they've got a bunch of other shit to work on, but that's part of the problem. But to be honest, I watched it, I just kind of went, yeah, this is just the superhero thing. It's doing the superhero thing, and then it ended. 4.5. You know what I would say a 6 is? Like a Spider-Man Far From Home. That to me should be the level of a 6. You walk away from it going, that was a good fun time. There was story beats in here and kind of things, and visually the way it looked and certain stuff like this, and how replayable is it, and blah, blah, blah. I know some people love, I know Far From Home is very Marmite of people, they either love it or hate it. But yeah, like that to me, like that kind of level of film should be a 6. Like that's where Marvel should, like their mid films, they're like, that's just good. That's just a good film. A 6 out of 10 should be Far From Homes. Like, and that's spoil. I get it. That's spoil, and that is entitled from me, right? But it's what I've came to expect. I've been going to a swanky restaurant. They've been serving me up nice dishes, right? So now, when they serve up something that if I went to another restaurant, I would still be happy with. But in this place, it's like I've came to expect a certain level here, So you can't really drop below that. You're sort of the victim of your own success or prior success, I guess, because they've been crap. The post-credit scene, I'm not going to spoil, get right, but not that anyone here gives a fuck, but I just won't. But it's just, Marvel haven't had a good post-credit scene in so long. I did the main channel video about this ages ago. Marvel's post-credit scenes are just dead, and they have been dead for so long. The first one is something that they think is cool, but I just don't personally haven't found that for like the last 7 probably in a row. And the second one is something I just never wait for because it's going to be like a dumb joke. It's not worth waiting for. If you're waiting for it, then you're, I don't know, what fair play. Um, but this was like them revealing something where they wanted us to be like, and I just don't care about this whole lane they're going down really, and it just doesn't tickle my pickle. Whoa. But yeah, no. 4.5, but like, again, context, better than Ant-Man, better than Thor: Love and Thunder, probably about on level with Doctor Strange. Multiverse of Madness for me, anyway. I think after this, now the next movie they got like 3 shows before the next movie, which is kind of already a problem. Like, cut down the shit, still cut it down. I know they cut it down, but still cut it down. They got this Daredevil thing that people aren't gonna like as much as the original Daredevil. That is just like, if I could bet money on anything, it should be that. Like, people won't like this as much as the original, but hey, we're gonna do it. The Echo series that I cut, that's the kind of stuff we shouldn't be wasting time and resources on, and I think they get that now. But we're not gonna feel the effects of that for some years because they already started putting this in production and filming this like before they made that decision. So I thought it's gonna take a bit of time for it to kick in, like, because I do think Marvel will have a resurgence. I don't think it'll ever hit in terms of quality, maybe in terms of monetary success or whatever, but not in terms of quality. I think Infinity War, especially with some of the big stuff they're setting up at the moment, which just ain't hitting. But like, yeah, I think they will have I think they were operating at a solid 8 most of the time. They've dropped now to like a 3, but I think they will find themselves back up to a 6, maybe even pushing a 7. Maybe that's just me being hopeful. But like the next film, because they got that Echo series, which god damn, they got Daredevil, and then they got the Ironheart series, which, you know, it's hard to say. I don't know. The Echo one's going to be mid, and no one's really going to care. The Daredevil one, it's not going to be as good as the original, but people like the actor and the characters, and they showed some blood on Kingpin's hand in the trailer because this is a darker show. Show the blood in the hand, and it's like, whoa, Marvel showed blood type thing. So I don't know. Marvel says stuff like this is going to be a dark one, and it's just not dark. Like, they just don't know what dark is. Like, they know what, like, dimly lit is, but they don't know dark, right? Like, when they say, oh, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, it's going to be a darker one. They said that about that film. It's going to be a darker one. It's kind of like a horror film. Like, we think this is a kind of a dark horror kind of film. And it's like, yeah, the elements are in there, but it's just completely not really in any way. But yeah, I think the next film, as I'm trying to say, it took me 7 hours to get here, but is Captain America with, what's the black guy's name? Anthony Mackie. Harrison Ford is the new president guy because the guy died in real life. I don't really know what's going on in that film. I don't know if Sebastian Stan's in it. Because that's under a current moniker, like a current big name in the Marvel anyway, like Captain America. I feel like it'll be of a certain level, a certain quality. It should be, and like look a certain way. I don't know how good it will be, but I think it's like Spider-Man. Like, we're having bad films, but Spider-Man's always going to be decent. Like, even if we're having 3 out of 10s and 3 out of 10s, I always believe a Spider-Man film coming out is going to be of a certain good quality level. So like, if they had a Spider-Man coming out as the next film, regardless of the bad run we've been on, I still believe it'd be like a 7, 8 minimum. So, and I don't know what's after that, because I know that they've been bottling this whole Blade thing. They've been like fucking hot potato and fucking Butterfingers dropping it. Different writers, different directors, almost losing the actor because it just seems like a shit show. But hopefully they get that on track. I don't know what films like Thunderbolts and stuff like. There's nothing really grabbing my balls and saying, "Hey, watch this." But I guess I will end up still giving them the money. Although this was like the lowest box office they've had in a while, I think, and like it's one of their lowest rated Marvel movies, which I do get because it is just so like lazy and just sort of like not new and just kind of like beige and just sort of mid and stuff, and sort of that doesn't even really make sense. But like, I don't know. I guess a 50 is sort of fair. I think that's what it's on. I don't think many Marvel movies should be 90 rated or 96 rated on Rotten Tomatoes, and they are. So I think they've been punching above for a while, to be fair. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There's nothing new, like close to being new on the horizon. Um, that I'm like gassed about. But that opens the door to pleasant surprises because I probably wouldn't have been gassed about Guardians when I heard that either. So like, hopefully they get the right director combo and they get their new big thing off the ground. Because it has to be said, like since Infinity War, they've not really set up something that is that cool in terms of new characters. I think people would argue Shang-Chi as that. Shang-Chi didn't really connect with me. Like I didn't really. I actually thought that's like actually a very mid film. A lot of people really liked it and ran with it and was saying like it's one of their better. Like for me, Shang-Chi was just like no different really from all the other. Like Shang-Chi is not really far off Marvels to me. Like you know what I mean. So I can't. Sorry, I don't know. I can't. I'm actually thinking back to it right now, like the story and stuff. I can't believe. I get it has good choreography, right? So at least it's got that going for it. So as a fighting, but I can't believe people like loved that film as much. I think it's because it's like Asian representation and they're like doing that and they're putting that on the map and like they're trying to show like they're just like they're getting the choreography, they're getting like the actual people who've done like the fighting movies and stuff like that. They're putting like a level of effort there. When I think about the story, man, and like it's just like it is actually like a 4 out of 10. Like it's not or a 5. It's like it's not, So they have not really set up anything good. You know what? Actually, hot take. I actually think the best character so far that I've like believed and bought into and like actually like that I can think of off the top of my head that I think is a good introduction. And it sounds crazy because it is just like a female version of a character we already have. And was in a show that a lot of people didn't really care about. But I actually think Kate Bishop. I think Haley Steinfeld's really good and like she doesn't overact. She doesn't like she reacts really well. I'm talking like I'm a fucking acting instructor and I've done courses. Never done anything in my life. Talking absolute shit. But she just comes across the most like an actual person and not like someone up there trying to do their Marvel thing. Like someone up there trying to do their I'm here too, guys, in English. Like she actually feels like, yeah, so I'd say her. But which is surprising considering the amount of stuff they've tried. But that's the one I think that stuck for me. This has been like 18 minutes of me just fucking being a loser. But, oops. What can I do? That's all. Thanks, guys. Very much appreciated. This is 270 something of Holiday. See you in the next one.
Here with the kids, and they have like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. Like,